Hey everybody! Today I thought I'd talk to you about the top 15 misconceptions about being blind or visually impaired. So let's get right into it. Number one is that blind people cannot dress themselves, and this kind of goes along with dressing themselves or picking out their own clothes, anything fashion related, that blind people can't do it. Just because we're blind or visually impaired does not mean we're not able to put on our own clothes. While we can't see, we still are able to learn what looks good together, and we have ways of knowing what clothing is what color, so that way we can match them together and create a good outfit. Like, I know I'm not a fashion expert, and I create pretty basic outfits, but I can still come up with some really stylish stuff if I actually take the time to do so. Number two, if a sighted person loses their vision, they have to stop living their lives. Just because you don't have vision does not mean you can't do things. You just have to learn how to do them differently. So, I know I haven't personally experienced losing my vision, so I know I can't speak for people who have gradually lost their vision, but I do know people that have, and they are perfectly successful. They keep doing what they were doing before they lost their vision. They just do things a little differently. They still have jobs, they have families, they go out and go to the movies or go to the mall. They still do everything, or almost everything, that they did before they lost their vision. So they definitely have not stopped living their lives since they lost their vision, and there's no reason that anyone should have to. Vision is not, it is an obstacle, but it is not a complete limitation. You just have to find ways to work around it. Number three, if you don't have a cane or a guide dog, there is no possible way you are blind or visually impaired. Not everyone who is visually impaired uses a cane or has a guide dog. Some people are still considered visually impaired, but they can walk around and do fine on their own without a cane or a guide dog. Now, there are plenty of people out there who do, myself included, use a cane or a guide dog, but there are a lot of people, I even have friends that are still visually impaired, but they don't need a cane or a guide dog because they can see well enough that they can get around without one. And just because you're blind or visually impaired doesn't mean that you should have one, because if you don't need it, then you shouldn't have to use it. Number four is something that I get quite a bit, and there's a few variations, and that is, if you are blind or visually impaired, then you must know sign language. As I said, there's a few variations of this, as in, if you're blind or visually impaired, then people need to talk really, really loud when they're talking to you. Or when they are talking to someone who is blind or visually impaired, that they should talk to the person that they are with instead of talking directly to them. Because for some reason, they think if you're blind, then you automatically can't hear either. And I can speak for a lot of people that are blind or visually impaired. Our hearing is usually better than sighted people's. Number five, if you are blind or visually impaired, you must have gone to or be going to a school for the blind or some kind of special school. I went to a public school. I know several other friends that have also gone to a public school. I know people that have gone to school for the blind the whole way through school. And I believe I even know one person who actually went to a school for the blind in college. However, a lot of people that are blind or visually impaired do not go to a school for the blind. Number six is that you should never use the word see around blind people. I use the word see all the time, and yes, I do have some vision, but I can't see very well. I have almost no vision. So I still use the word see even if I can't visually see what I'm looking at. For instance, I will say that I went to go see a movie last weekend, even though I can't actually see the movie theater screen, but I still went and saw the movie. C is not a forbidden word, or any variation of it is not a forbidden word. Several people who are blind or visually impaired use the word see just as much as a sighted person does. Number 7, if you say you are blind, then that means you have no vision at all. Not everyone who says they are blind are actually completely blind. There are people out there who are completely blind, but there are also people out there who are considered legally blind, or I believe it's called registered blind in other countries, and they may consider themselves to be blind. And for instance, I will say that I am blind even though I have some vision. Usually people who say they are blind don't have much vision. They either have none at all or they have very, very little, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they can't see at all. Number 8, guide dogs know exactly how to get to several different locations, and all you have to do is say something like, take me to Walmart, or take me to the park, and they will take you there, and all you have to do is follow along. I think this is pretty funny. I get this quite a bit. No, I am the driving force for myself and Glenna. She does not know how to get to places. I still have to know where I'm going and how to get there. She will just alert me if there's a curb or stairs or something in my path, something like that. But she doesn't know how to get to those places. She may somewhat memorize a route if we go there all the time, but she doesn't know how to get there just by me saying, take me to Walmart. Number 9, all blind people read Braille. Some people that are blind or visually impaired, mainly people that are visually impaired, do not read Braille. They either use large print, or some cases they even use regular print. Number 10. Oh, are you training this dog to be a guide dog? No, I am not. She is my guide dog. She has already been through training. If you look at their harness, you can tell whether they are in training or not. The guide dogs that are in training typically have a vest that says they are in training, whereas my guide dog does not. She just has the regular harness. She has been through the full course of training. We have trained together, and now we are out actually working together. Usually people who are training guide dogs have some kind of shirt on that also lets you know that they are in training. But a lot of times if you see them, no, they're not in training if they don't have the vest on. Number 11. All blind people date other blind people. This one honestly kind of bugs me more than the other ones do. I mean, it doesn't bother me that much, but it does kind of bug me. No, just because we are blind or visually impaired does not mean we date other people who are blind or visually impaired. Some people do. I'm personally not against it, but I have dated people who are sighted. I know other people who are blind or visually impaired that have dated other sighted people. I have met people that are blind and visually impaired that date other blind and visually impaired people. But just because we can't see does not mean we date other people who can't see. Number 12. You don't look blind. Not all blind people look the same. We don't all wear dark sunglasses. I mean, I wear sunglasses, but not all people who are blind wear dark sunglasses and have a cane or anything like that. There's not really a set look to being blind or visually impaired. Every one of us looks different. Some of us have a cane, some of us have a guide dog, some of us don't have either. Some of us wear regular glasses, some wear sunglasses. Some have sunglasses that are lighter, some that are darker, some don't wear any. We all look different. Number 13. All blind people are helpless. This applies to many situations, but especially in situations where we are out in public walking around by ourselves. For instance, when we're walking across the street or even just walking down the sidewalk. I've had times where I'm walking around and someone will just grab my arm and go, "You need to go this way," and pull me off in some other direction. And I'm like, no, actually, I needed to go this way. We may not be able to see, but we know where we need to go. And if we don't need help, if we don't know where we need to go, we'll ask for help. We can do quite a bit by ourselves. I'm not saying that we can do everything without any help, but there are things that we can do by ourselves. If we need help, we will ask you. Please do not come up to us and just grab us, because that not only is that frustrating to someone who can't see, it also will throw them off. We have set ways of knowing how to get to places, and so if you're just dragging us off some other way, we may have known where we needed to go, but we don't necessarily now that you just drug us off our path. That applies to anything. If we need help, we'll ask. That's just the main thing that I want y'all to get from this misconception, is that we are not helpless, and if we do need help with something, we will ask you. We don't want you to just assume that we can't do something and try to help, because sometimes, I don't mean to say this rudely, but sometimes your trying to help can actually make things worse for us. Number 14. Don't glasses help? For some people who are visually impaired, glasses may help. And a lot of times, if they will help, people will wear them. But they unfortunately do not work for everybody. Alright, I'm gonna try to do this last one quick because my camera keeps overheating for some reason. So it keeps dying on me even though it should be fully charged. But let's just get this last one done. Number 15 is that everyone who is blind wants to be able to see again. A lot of people do. I personally do. I didn't used to. I believed back then, and I believe now, that God created me for this way for a reason. And back then I believed that since He created me this way, that I should not be able to see again, and I didn't want to be able to see again because, I was created this way. However, while I still believe that He created me this way for a reason, I believe that everything happens for a reason, and so if an opportunity arises for me to be able to see, I personally would believe that God put that in front of me for a reason. However, not everyone believes that, or not everyone wants to be able to see again. It would be a whole nother video to explain exactly what I mean by that, but there are many reasons people don't want to be able to see. Some of them feel the same as I did, and that they were created this way for a reason, and they just don't want to change that because they feel like they shouldn't. There are so many reasons, but while there are people out there who are blind or visually impaired and wish they could see a whole lot better, there are also people out there who don't want to be able to see better, or wouldn't take an opportunity to see better if one was given to them. But those are the top 15 misconceptions about being blind or visually impaired. If you are blind or visually impaired and you can relate to any of these, comment down below. Please be polite about it. I created this video not to bash people who have had these thoughts or misconceptions, but to educate everyone on these things and to just shed some light on these topics, because these are things that I get a lot, and I just want to let people know that these things are not true. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos, and I will see y'all in my next one.